Silent film originated the images that have sent us travelling down a lost highway, faced with an endless open road. But though the image confronts us with the innate darkness of the soul, this persistence of motion in Lynch's haunting visuals carries the compulsion of dreams to drive our stories. The dreamscape resonates from a quiet time, when we are at rest and our senses have attuned to our inner worlds. The Lost Highway takes us back through history, towards a time when the new art of cinema was awakening from the dark, preparing for our dreams to be realised. It's the razor across the eye while we sleep. We feel the bugs crawl out of the gaping wound in our hand. We see people who are familiar but make us wary somehow. We know them but don't know them. We embark on romantic escapades and undertake daring quests and adventures. The fantasy becomes reality. The dreams we have are captured in film like no other art form. The pure image is the imprint of our psyche, moving towards us, communicating with us. The dreamscape has provided fertile ground for filmmakers to explore fear, empathy, intellectualism, and sexuality throughout history. The non-linear progression of dreams provides a storytelling canvas for representations of the fantastic and the troubling. Silent film created the template for sound era works to continue expanding the dreamscape. We see this in the films of Méliès, where the infinite possibilities presented to us in dreams are realised. We are taken on trips to the moon and explore a haunted castle, while an astronomer searches for the eureka moment, literally within a dream. Dreams are also revelation through adventure. Douglas Fairbanks undertakes a fantastical quest, fights mythical creatures and rides a magic carpet as he seeks to rescue his beloved princess from the clutches of a warlord. This is the dream of romantic daring, where we assimilate a new character through our fantasies. We are bathed in soft lighting and otherworldly eroticism. We are heroic. It's thrilling, it's wondrous, it's silence at work within our dreams and desires. On the darker side of the moon, the underside of the magic carpet, the early expressionist works from Germany yielded a design of the nightmare. The angular streets and corners of the cabinet of Dr. Caligari almost feel painful to witness, as if we are being stabbed by the city itself. Considering the film is about a somnambulist killer under the influence of a wicked magician, the sensation of the blade biting our flesh is apposite to our viewing experience. Vina's characters are in a constant state of emotional turmoil, liable to fall apart at any moment, and it is the environment of a nightmare that produces this effect on them. Vina's vision inspired one of cinema's greatest filmmakers, as they incorporated this style into their own signature during the silent era. Alfred Hitchcock found his own predilections and obsessions within the expressionism of the cabinet of Dr. Caligari, transferring it to the fog-shrouded streets of the Loggia, a tale of a madman terrorising London who has a particular penchant for blondes. As revealed in his later films, we detect the desires lurking within Hitchcock's dreams while we wander through dark alleyways and creep through the halls of a house that only gives the illusion of protection from a virulent outside world. As with Vina, Hitchcock saw the angles and shadows of a city in the grip of eternal night. The terror of Jack the Ripper would have still been fresh in the memory during the making of The Lodger, and Hitchcock recalls this living nightmare again in 1972, directing Anthony Schaeffer's screenplay of Frenzy. Murder Most Foul, a scream made in silence. Likewise, Buñuel and Dali's dark, surrealist experiments paved the way for the exploration of the unhinged and the anarchic in human psychology. We can see their echoes in films such as Wojciech Huss's The Hourglass Sanatorium, and Gaspar Noé's Enter the Void, which both use free association to open a discussion on how we perceive the world around us. What matters to us, and why does it do so? Why do we see things the way we do? Are we quietly, inevitably, unravelling in nightmare? Or are we stood stock still, pacific, only animated by reactive discourse? Acting as a bridge between the most experimental silent films and their sound era equivalents is Dementia, a 1955 silent homage film by John Parker. Surrendering to her murderous impulses in dreams, a young woman experiences the torturous reality of these acts in her waking life. Parker asks us, where is this line drawn? Dementia does feature a synchronised music and effects track, but it contains no dialogue. In effect, it is the dividing line between silence and sound, the elusive line between dreams and reality. If sound tunes us into our senses, silence makes us dream about them and, consequently, push them outward. In other words, sound brings us into a defined reality from the reverie of silence. Perhaps, in this sense, escapism and realism are inextricable. When examining Victor Sjöström's macabre tale The Phantom Carriage, the storytelling reveals a warmth and comfort where we gather around a fire to hear weird and wonderful tales on a chilling winter's night, despite the spectre of mortality represented by the ghosts. For what Sjöström captures here is the power of the imagination to bring us relief from our self-awareness, something recognised by David Lowery in his 2017 film A Ghost Story. Sjöström and Lowery understand that our ancestral love of sharing stories is born from the dreams that seep into our waking lives. Silent cinema extracted our most fervent desires, rising us from numbly turning the cogs and wheels of routine, and sent them to galaxies far, far away. In a progression from painting, the power of dreams was animated in film, and opened the gateway to worlds we could only previously witness in still images. The emergence of the subconscious into waking life jolts us out of our comfort zones and forces us to either live our dreams, or be consumed by them. Žiga Vertov's virtuosic Man with a Movie Camera stands the test of time for its exhilarating experimentation and introduction of, or advancement in, filmmaking techniques, but it is precisely its living of the dream that gives it purpose. Did Martin Scorsese dream of Man with a Movie Camera's slow-motion scenes so that he could send Robert De Niro descending into the seedy underworld of Taxi Driver? And did Robert Eggers allow Vertov's double exposure to consume him when conceiving of Robert Pattinson's absorption by the light, a finality of dreams submerging the conscious mind, Eggers' evolution of Vertov's image-making? We are back on the lost highway, driving in the dark, looking for a final destination. We are sharing the same dreams as those filmmakers who started us down this road.